Who's up on the reading of the leading the Pledge of Allegiance?
She did.
We know who's up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ed, you are up? See that? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Glens Falls Common Council meeting. It's Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. It's 7:30 and time for our regular session. Begin the session by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Clark.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up, we'll go to public comment. We ask anybody coming to the council come up to the microphone and tell us your name and address if anybody would like to address the common council.
This is addressing, I would address that on one issue. Is that started?
Yes, you could come up and talk about an issue if you'd like.
Yes. There's a resolution here.
Hold on one sec, sir. Come on up to the microphone if you would, sir. Tell us who you are and your address.
Yeah, I'm Brian Hasher. I live at 5 Bacon Street, Glens Falls, New York. There's a resolution here forward to the Glens Falls Planning Board, a proposal to rezone from RM to GC1, two properties located at 1 and 3 Bacon Street in Glens Falls. It's part of the Stewart Shop upgrade project at Sherman Avenue and Glen Street attached.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think they supplied the map here. Stewart's, I'm not anti-Stewart's. I talked to some of the councilmen about this whatsoever. The problem I see with Stewart's is on Ridge Street and Warren Street. They have a beautiful building. They have big, huge lots in front, but they're backing their whole operation up against the residents' property. And this picture, this diagram that they submitted shows that. And my point is, again, I'm not anti-Stewart's, is that in those Warren Street and Ridge Street, they had plenty of room to move that store up. They didn't have to be on top of those residents. And if they redo this plan, they don't have to be on top of me or my neighbors. And that's my concern. Now, one of the things they're going to bring up is, oh, they're big because of trucking. Well, they're bringing in trucks right now on the postage stamp on Glen Street. So they don't need all that room for trucks. They don't need that room for trucks on Warren Street. They don't need it on Ridge Street. So my concern, their building will interfere with the quality of life. The best, I'm right there. I mean, I'm the next person, and my neighbors. So that's my concern, and that's, again, I'm not anti-Stewart's. Just a better plan is what I'm concerned about.
Thank you.
All right. Nice talking to you. I'm Brian. We finally hooked up.
Thank you. Anybody else like to comment?
Good evening, Nancy Turner, 153 Bay Street. Spring's here, first event of the year, Wingfest.
Yay!
Yeah, so we have a lot of food vendors and it's gonna be a nice day. So everybody come downtown and pick your favorites.
Fantastic.
Yeah, okay? I'll see all of you there.
What's the date?
Oh, yes, I know, so I assume everybody else knows. It's this Saturday, the 27th of April,
Right.
noon to 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Well played.
Not seeing anyone else. Do we have anybody online? Oh, sorry.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Molly Demeter, and I am here
What's your
to,
address, Molly?
Pardon me?
Your address, please.
27 Mockingbird Lane
Thank you.
in Queensbury.
Queensbury. Okay,
Yes.
Molly.
Now, I'm here, excuse me, to address the issue of the youth and some grown-ups, I understand, are with them, that are riding their bikes around the city, harassing people, harassing drivers. And it started last year, and the police department said that there wasn't much that they could do about it. But there are public nuisance laws.
Sure.
And the nuisance laws in New York State say that if conduct or behavior offends, interferes with, or causes damage to the public and the exercise of rights common to all in a manner such as to offend public morals, or interfere with use by the public of a public place, or endanger or injure the property, health, safety, or comfort of a considerable number of persons, then something needs to be done about it.
Absolutely.
This is dangerous. I walk in Glens Falls. It's a beautiful city, and a lot of people come here to the restaurants, to the library. It's really, really a safety issue, and I just wanted to call attention to it. I'm probably not the first one that has or the last one that will, but I just wanted to make it known tonight that this is a safety issue, and it's scary for a lot of people. People have been actually injured by these groups of kids.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if you have any influence or could have any influence, but
Well, the first thing, Molly, is to correct something. The police never said that there's nothing they can do about it.
Oh, I
Matter of
read
fact,
that in
we
the
had
Chronicle.
We had 21, well, the Chronicle was misquoting somebody because it's not true. We arrested 21 people last year, 6 parents and 15 of the children. And so, and as a matter of fact, right now, we hear on social media all the time that there's nothing that the police are doing. It's absolutely not true. If you see anybody, we made I think we press release out yesterday or today again to make sure we combat this misinformation. We certainly can do stuff. Call right away and make a report so that we can follow up on it. Absolutely, 100%, there is absolutely, we can address it and will address it every time.
that is wonderful to hear.
Oh, you will?
Because that's not what the Chronicle said.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame, isn't it?
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. We need, in the press release that went out today, it was a plea for your help. We need to notify, you need to notify us right away. And if you file a report, because many of these people are youths, that helping us file the report allows us to follow up and make sure that we're doing something. And again, last year, didn't get reported much, but we had 21 arrests. We definitely addressed it, and 6 of those were the parents of the kids. Okay? Sure, if you'd like to come up, you don't need to raise your hand. Sure, come on up. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm Christine Del
Hi,
Signor.
Christine.
Hi. I
Oh,
live
your address, please.
at
I'm sorry.
24 Arlington Street, my neighbor.
Awesome.
And so I just have a question. When you say we have to or could report these issues,
We need you to
I-
report them to.
I'm a little bit confused about the process. Who do I report it to?
Call 911 right
to you,
away.
the police,
No,
the 911?
911 gets you right to our police thing. And if you call 911 too, because many times this is happening in Queensbury, it would go to the Warren County Sheriff's. Call 911, call immediately. And if you get video, we'd love to have the video so we can follow up. They scatter as we arrive. Okay?
Definitely,
We're
thank you.
only getting reports of about 1/3 of what we actually think is happening. So it's funny that if it's happened, say, a dozen times, as best we can tell, we've only gotten 5 or 6 actual reports. And that's an issue. We can't follow up on stuff we don't know. And people think that following up on social media is following up. It's not.
Well, I think that just made it a little more clear, so thank you, I
Oh,
appreciate that.
you're very welcome. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Judy Wood, and my address is 102 Dearborn Drive, and I'm from excuse me, Hudson Falls, New York. I've just come up a couple of years from Florida, so I was listening to Molly and also heard about that. And the first thing I wanted to say is that doesn't line up with what I see in this community. I came to this community because one Thanksgiving when I was alone, there was a big sign across the road and it says, Hometown America, Glens Falls, Glens Falls, New York, and it said Hometown Thanksgiving. And I went and it was the most beautiful experience. And I've watched this town grow in the last 20 years, even when I was in Florida. I've seen how you brought in the art and the culture. I've seen the things that have happened on South Street. I've seen those things. And I know each one of you has a piece to bring the peace. And there's probably been chaos in it. And there's been conflict in it. And I myself have been working and have been an arbitrator in counseling conflict resolution. And I came here for the same question that she was talking about. Because this doesn't line up with everything I've seen. The fruit of your spirit has been to bring peace and community life. And it didn't balance. So I said, I'm going to just go and hear and listen. And I want to applaud you because you're right. The media doesn't get it right. We have to come to the source, which is your people. I thank you very much for the work you're doing. I can rest better knowing that everybody here is doing their job to be this beautiful little community that I live in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Not seeing anybody. Peter, do we have anybody online?
No. We have online, but
Fantastic. Yeah, people online, but nobody commenting. And let us know if they do, okay, Peter?
no.
All right. We'll go to committee reports. Councilman Clark.
No report.
Councilman Donahue.
I think we'll be getting it very shortly from Jeff.
Contract from NIPA.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you, sir. Councilman Landry.
No report.
Councilwoman Palmer, please.
The Recreation Committee met on the 16th. We were continuing to plan our event to kick off all the improvements that we've done to our parks. So we're going to have an event that includes a basketball tournament, a pickleball tournament, and food and things like that. We'll get information about that out soon. We also continued discussing the remaining improvements, which include the field houses, the bathrooms, and things like that at all the rest of our parks. The Building and Codes Committee also met. We saw a presentation from Civics Plus, which is our current website, the company hosts our website. They have a component that handles buildings and codes software, and our Building and Codes officer is strongly advocating for us to change. So we saw a presentation, and we all thought that it offered a lot of things that would be good for us and for our constituents, including a public-facing portal so constituents can pay fees, submit applications, track progress for applications, violations, etc., and kind of seamless integration between people who need to communicate, like the planning board, the zoning board, and building and codes, or the assessor's office and building and codes, things like that. We all agreed that we would like to do it. We felt that we wanted to take some time to see if we could negotiate the price down a little bit, because it is a little more expensive than what we have now. And because we use them for other services, we think we have a good case, so we would like to do that. That was the majority of our meeting.
Great, thank you. Councilman, just so you know, I also asked all the departments to look, because I agree with you that Civic Plus is made for that kind of hosting, and we are using them already for Civic Rec. And we know that there's more coming, so we can take online payments and taxes and stuff. So we should clearly be able to negotiate if there's multiple packages, that we get a group discount, if you will. So
specifically, one of the things in that presentation is they were saying, oh, you guys have C-Click Fix, so there's this whole module that will just kind of null out. So it seems to me like if they're saying we're not going to connect this in because you have something better, that there's an opportunity for them to say, you know, because you're already getting this one thing, we can give you a little bit of a break.
Awesome, thank you. Councilman Lapp.
There'll be a meeting of the Technology Committee on Wednesday, May 1st.
Thank you. Councilwoman Good.
Yes, the Special Projects Committee will be resuming. I will
shortly, like 2 weeks.
Thank you. Let's see. I believe Councilwoman Palmer mentioned under voice vote, or excuse me, this would be roll call vote, so I'll wait. We got voice vote. We have 2 resolutions under voice vote. Do we have a motion for a voice vote?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Motion passes. Under roll call vote, I think we want to pull number 7.
We should probably read the resolution, so people know what we just.
Sorry. Resolution 1 to approve the minutes of the April 9th, 2024 meeting of the Glens Falls Common Council. And Resolution 2 is to approve the Grandville Park invasive species remediation.
No,
That's just one. Let me start again for you. I apologize. Under roll call vote, I wrote my note in the wrong place. So on number 7, Councilwoman Palmer asked us to pull that for discussion. Are there any other roll call vote discussions that I'd like to pull for discussion? Or resolutions you'd like to pull for discussion? Not hearing any, we'll pull 7 and we'll do the rest and then come back to 7. So, under roll call vote, number 2 is a resolution to approve the Crandall Park invasive species remediation plan. 3 is a resolution to increase revenue code A 009999-158 public safety income by $1,103.16 and increase expense line A23120-1100 police department overtime by $1,133.16 as reimbursed by NISPA for Section 2 basketball. 4 is a resolution to increase revenue code A 009999-1589 miscellaneous public safety income by $1,107.84 and increase expense line A23120-1100 police department overtime by $1,107.84 as reimbursed by NISPA for the boys basketball championship. 5 is a resolution to include revenue code A 00999-1589 public safety income by $3,524.04 to increase expense line A23120-1100 police department overtime by $3,524.04 as reimbursed by Glens Falls High School sporting events. 6 is a resolution to authorize the Economic Development Director to enter into a short-term lease of 7 months with Brian Bronzino, owner of 18 to 22 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, in the amount of $500 for the 3rd floor space to be in said building as part of the Urban Agricultural Pilot Program being funded by the Empire State Development Smart Cities Innovation Partnership. 7 is pulled. 8 is a resolution to approve the first installment for health insurance stipend 2024 for full-time union and non-union employees who elect not to enroll in the City of Glens Falls Health Insurance Program. These payments are defined in the CSEA, PBA, and IAFF contracts. 9 is a resolution to authorize the City of Glens Falls development manual payments in the amount of $4,544.40 to reimburse expenses to not-for-profits per program year 2023 agreements, to pay expenses related to an emergency repair under the CBG Rehabilitation Program, to pay expenses related to the end-of-the-year financial documentation for vendors, and to pay for newspaper legal notices regarding minor changes to the CBG budget. 10 is a resolution to approve a tax payment agreement for 172 Ridge Street, Glens Falls, New York, tax map number 302.16-21-4, as a down payment has been received. 11 is a resolution to retroactively approve the encroachment permit number 11-2024 as approved by Mayor Collins on April 1st to Ted Arnstein, owner of 13 Birch Avenue, Glens Falls, to have William Talmadge, 454 Bay Road, Queensbury, to replace existing sewer lines shared between 13 Birch Avenue and 15 Birch Avenue with a new separate sewer line for 13 Birch Avenue from 11 from April 1st, 2024 through the completion of the project, with the understanding that the area is to be cordoned off and allow for pedestrian access on the sidewalk in compliance with PRO-AG regulations. 12 is a resolution to retroactively approve encroachment permit number 12-2024 by Mayor Collins on April 4th for National Grid 11 Broadway Menands to allow for street openings throughout Garfield Street from Grant Avenue to Lincoln Avenue for the installation of a new gas main from April 4th, 2024 through the completion of the project through the city engineer's general requirements. Permit number 12-2024 is subject to prevailing wage requirements of Article 8 New York State Labor Section 214-F Roadway Excavation Quality Assurance Act. 13 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license, application number 2024 for Michael Copeland, DBA Freddy's Rockin' Lemonade, 229 Union Street, Schenectady, to operate a weekly mobile food unit from May 11th through May 12th in the city park for Zonta Arts Fair. 14 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application 12-2024 from Linda and William Gilmore, DBA Pucker Bush LLC in 950 Menands Hill Road to operate a weekly mobile food unit for the Zonta Arts Fair from May 11th through the 12th in City Park, and for Larac Arts Festival June 8th through June 9th in City Park. 15 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license, application number 3-2024 from Thomas and Megan Festa, DBA The Clever Cleaver, 55 Pine Street, Granville, to operate a weekly mobile food unit from June 8th and 9th, 2024 for the Larac Arts Festival in City Park. 16 is a resolution to approve the mobile food unit license application renewal number 10-2024 from Michael Negro, DBA Green Mountain Concessions, 25 Hill Street, Bennington, Vermont, to operate a mobile food unit from June 8th to 9th, 2024 in Glens Falls City Park for the Larac Arts Festival. 17 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application number 9-2024 for Kate DeBow of DBA Maple Wagon, 181 Christie Road, Greenwich, to operate a mobile food unit from June 8th and 9th, 2024 for the Larac Arts Festival in City Park. 18 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application renewal number 13-2024 from Tylen Clinker, DBA Ty's Taqueria, LLC, and 669 Maggie Hogue Road, Delancey, New York, to operate a seasonal mobile food unit in the city of Glens Falls from April 24th through October 24th as attached. 19 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application renewal 14-24 for Karen Squires, DBA Squires Kettle Corn, 42 County Route 53, Greenwich, New York, to operate a weekly mobile food unit from Glens Falls City Park for the Zonta Country Fair, May 11th through 2024 through May 12th, 2024. 20 is a resolution to approve a mobile food unit license application 15-2024 to Penny Sandora, DBA Northeast Corner Herb Farm, 185 Lake Nebo Road, Fort Ann, to operate a mobile food unit license in Glens Falls City Park for Zonta Country Fair, May 11th through the 12th. 21 is a resolution to award bid CGF. This is the one I left on your desk. We didn't have it. We opened this bid at 12 o'clock today. So it's CGF 24-02 RFP Cemetery Maintenance Staffing Award. And we presented to the Common Council on on today's date. That's to Mark Burain Cemetery Care LLC for $143,850 for 1 year. And 22 is a resolution to accept the bid authorizing the award to Roselle Industries, contingent approval from New York State Department of State, the funding agency, to construct a walking path along the shoreline of Pines Island under project CGF 24-05, Pines Island Path, Pines Island Connections to Downtown Project. 23 is a resolution to increase revenue line A009999-4089, government aid ARPA, by $2,500 to increase A67140-4379, recreation main DPW other supplies, by $2,500 to purchase a deer fence for the Murray Street Community Garden to keep the deer and other wildlife from consuming the vegetables. DPW with Warren County Soil and Water will install the fencing. 24 is a resolution to approve the encroachment permit number 14-24 for WFCM 2016 C34 21 Glen Street, Glens Falls, to have the City Glass Company at 1068 Curry Road, Schenectady, to block off the section of sidewalk in front of 221 Glen Street for the placement of a lift for window repair and work from April 24, 2024 through May 10, 2024, with the understanding that the area is to be cordoned off and allow for pedestrian access on the sidewalk according to PROAG regulations. And 25 is a resolution to approve the warrant. Do we have a motion for a roll call vote?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Councilman Orange Court,
Yes.
Councilman Donovan,
Yes.
Councilman Landry,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas, Councilman Martin,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Whitten.
Yes.
Thank you. And so pulled for discussion is number 7, a resolution to forward to Glens Falls Planning Board a proposal to rezone from RM1 to GC1 two properties located at 1 and 3 Bacon Street in Glens Falls as part of the Stewart Shops upgrade to project at Sherman Avenue and Glen Street as attached.
So I asked for this to be pulled for discussion because I've had a couple different comments from constituents, and I just wanted to discuss it with all of you. I think we were all copied on Claudia Bramer's letter. She's one of my constituents. Her suggestion was that we ask stewards to move the building itself where the store is closer to the street instead of leaving so much room in front, and put the gas pumps behind. And then I also received a call from Brian, who came here, who lives on the street that's affected, and he also was saying that he wanted them to move the building towards the front and leave more space in the back. So I just thought that it would be worthwhile to at least have that discussion before we move it forward. I'm interested to hear everybody's thoughts on that.
Diane, if I could,
Yeah.
and I see Claudia's here. I agree. I think that it's a good point to discuss. One of the things I remember about Stewart's was Stewart's wanted to build a new store in Warrensburg. Warrensburg wanted the Stewart store to look like Warrensburg. They wanted colors, they wanted shutters, they wanted the building positioned in such a way that it kind of blended in with the neighborhood that's there. Stewart's is obviously running a profitable operation over here. They wouldn't be looking to expand it. So I think while we have the opportunity to keep that discussion open, and Claudia, my question to you is that that drawing, is that a concept or is it to scale?
It's a concept.
It's a concept, okay. Right, that's my thing.
Yeah, thanks.
So, the reason why this discussion came up was obviously they did their traffic pattern study and realized that that whole intersection was an F as it currently is constituted, and that they wanted to try to improve that intersection. I think, again, Claudia's letter, the idea of Stewart's is a neighborhood store. That's what used to be our corner grocery stores or corner neighborhood stores that were almost on every neighborhood, in every neighborhood. Stewart's is that for us now. And, they want to be good neighbors, and I think that this is an opportunity. But is this something is this a planning board discussion, or is this because we're just pushing it to the planning board, right?
You're sending it to the planning board for an advisory opinion. The actual site plan review and architectural review is the purview of the Glens Falls Planning Board.
Right, so
if it were approved, they would then make their application for building permits and go before the planning board.
Right, and my concern is I want to make sure that, whatever happens is that we try to do something with that intersection so it's safe for pedestrians and everybody.
I would also like to just point out that we're taking 2 properties off of our tax rolls, out of our inventory of residences in this plan. So if we're not getting something that is demonstrably more walkable,
Right.
demonstrably more bikeable, and more in tune with, the neighborhood store.
Right, right, and I agree with you, I think Dave Stewart's made that comment, they want to partner with us, and that's half the reason why they're, wanting to do what they want to do is so we have the ability to.
But what they did present to us would still have had a lot of issues for pedestrians.
Right, so we gotta work with them to make sure that is addressed.
Right, because I think that's really our main issue here with Stewart's is that intersection. And is the safety of that intersection, and I mean, we can agree with the neighbors, they live there, and they're concerned, if that's their concern, and, you have to think about everything, and I just think that, moving forward, that should really be, in the forefront, first of all, the intersection, because it needs, well, I'm going to tell you the truth. I really didn't realize it was that bad until it really came to us like that, really. But now that we do have that knowledge, it's a different story. So we need to, first of all, my thinking is, we need to have that intersection safer before, it moves forward. And I do hear the constituents' concern.
Yeah, I agree that the intersection needs to be addressed, and also that Stewart's seemed very open to working with us on addressing that, which is good. It's just that we didn't have a chance to ask them if they would consider moving their store forward and putting the gas pumps behind. So I know that all the details are worked out at planning board, but I wasn't sure if we should ask them that before we approve this, or if we think we should just move it forward and hope that the planning board.
Well, it's coming back to us regardless of what the planning board says. So if you don't feel that these issues are worked out, then we're not under any obligation. We're only addressing the zoning thing. The Stewart's hasn't, even after the zoning's approved, Stewart's needs to go back in front of the planning board with site plan review, and that's when these details would be in full. And if we don't even see them addressed before that, why even do it? So, I mean, is it simple enough to make this resolution based on when they meet with the planning board, that they address these concerns?
Absolutely.
So,
But
let's just add that to the resolution.
Constituents, if I could. So now we're talking about moving the pumps to the back. Now, do you think that would work better? What do you think?
Yeah, I do, but I don't know myself, my neighbor who owns rental property there, the house right against that farm for what? And if Stewart's is giving away land and need more land, they can talk to me and my neighbors if they want to buy it, which they have.
They have.
And this whole project, I haven't heard a word from anybody about what's going on except for hearsay. Stewart's never contacted me. I have no letters from the city or anybody. So I've been in the dark until now.
So it sounds like we're saying we'll move this forward with an amended resolution that we request the planning board just to address those concerns.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah, and we still don't have to, no matter what happens,
Yeah.
we don't need to move this forward when it comes back to us, right? So if it's not addressed,
This is
then
for
we'll
an
just
advisory opinion only. The common council has the final say in whether to rezone.
Yeah, I think the point was just to make sure that they understand we just want them to consider that specifically, since that
show
didn't
us
come up
some options.
previously.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, I think that the whole turn lane is a great thing, and they would be That's what they made the suggestion for, and we see those see that in their plan is definitely
Well, does the resolution cover removing the store? You're talking about turning it on.
The resolution is right now, it's a resolution to send them to the planning board to review a zoning change for the 2 lots that they'd like to purchase the homes only. This is the reason, I would assume, sir, that you haven't heard about this. It's the very beginning of the process. Stewart's has a long way to go before this process. This is just about the zoning of the two residences. It's not about, they would have to then go back in front of the planning board with the entire design review, in which we would expect to see the turning lanes, the safer intersection, and concerns about where the property is. This isn't approving any of that. Does that make sense? It's not approving Claudia's suggestions. It's not approving their suggestions. We're not there yet. Okay?
So it's forwarding it to the planning board, they'll do their work, we're just asking them to also add this additional thing to consider.
That's correct. These the 2 things is the turn lane and the location of the buildings and the gas pumps.
The turning lane, though, we had a chance to discuss with them.
Yes, yeah.
And I think they were very amenable to working with us, yeah. Okay.
One other quick note, and it's really a side note for this, and that's why I found your idea about moving it closer to the street interesting. You know, in the town of Queensbury, when they were redoing their zoning a number of years ago, took the Main Street corridor at exit 18 all the way down to Western Avenue and required that developers build to the sidewalk and put their parking in the rear so it didn't look like a long road of strip malls. And it's something we should consider when we do our comprehensive and zoning work.
Absolutely. Great. Do we have a motion for a roll call vote with those 2 amendments added to this resolution? Should I read we read the resolution, I can read it again?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, please.
Councilman at Large Clark?
Yes.
Councilman Donahue?
Yes.
Councilman Landry?
Yes.
Councilman Palmer?
Yes.
Councilman Markle?
Yes.
And Councilwoman Gooden?
Yes.
Thank you. Next up on our agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Old business, Councilman Clark.
Yeah, I just want to thank the council and the mayor for approving the Pines Island Trail. That has been a long time coming. It's going to enhance our recreational opportunities to connect our Haviland's Cove with our feeder canal and our downtown, and just bring us closer to the waterfront on the Hudson River. And I think it's an exciting opportunity for us from a recreational and quality of life standpoint. So I want to thank everyone for that. It's been a long time coming. It's quite a process, but it'll be a welcome one. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Donahue, old business.
No.
Councilman Landry.
No old business.
Councilwoman Palmer.
Yes, I wanted to talk about, I brought this up before, but the area in my ward where Sanford Street and several other streets are that has the water pooling issue. I sent you an email this last week. I don't think I had a response, but every time it rains, the neighbors in that area experience flooding of their properties. There's one neighbor in particular, Mr. Bickford, who lives on Sanford Street, who calls me every time, and it's getting very frustrating to not be able to have made any progress, really. At one point, Tom Gerard changed one of the sewer grates from being solid to having, grates in it, and that helped a little bit. But every time it rains, all the garbage floods into this person's yard, and it's not just him, it's all the neighbors. So a few years ago, the council authorized a fund to be set up for this purpose. And I'm trying to understand, where is that money and why aren't we using it for this? And that's what I've been trying to get a response about. So I just would like us to have an action plan. I know that we received $30,000 towards this, working with Warren County Water and Soil. I know we applied for some other funds that we did not receive. So what at this point are we able to do with those funds to help the neighbors, or what is the plan?
Well, I do believe that the water and sewer DPW, Bill Norton, the superintendent, has been in communications with you. I don't have it in front of me, but we have a long list of what we've done. And we cleaned out and made the area a little better, but the fact is that this is part of an entire water system that's been a problem since they put the Glens Falls High School in. And there's an underground water stream that runs from the Glens Falls High School all the way down past, through Chester Street, through backyards, through underground channels, and all the way to Sanford, East Sanford, Sanford Street Schools, the worst part. Mr. Bickford is not the only one. And so we've got $30,000 so we can actually camera out and try to understand where the problem gets worse, where it's better, and what to do with it. So we've got that $30,000. I just am signing a contract. I don't know if it's in tonight's council meeting. If not, it'll be, it was in council. So we're right now doing that work. Meanwhile, we've gone and visited Mr. Bickford's place. We are trying to resolve it, but it's a huge problem, and so I don't what else. I'm not sure I'm understanding exactly what you're asking.
I want to know what has happened to the $250,000 in the Third Ward Water Fund that the council authorized.
The council authorized it before I was in office, and
you seconded the resolution when it passed, so that money was authorized for this purpose. I would like to know what we're going to do with it, because that was years ago.
What we need to do is use that money to address the problem. Once we've studied where we have to scan all the lines and figure out what to do. We need an engineer to do it, and that's what we're using the 30 for. We could also use some of that money has been allocated, but it's sitting in the hasn't been taken out of the sewer general fund and assigned to it. And it was when I was a councilman, not the mayor. And so we are addressing it. I don't know what else, again, you want me to do. You know that we're putting this out to bid so that we can look at and analyze the whole problem. It's not like we can just, you also know that we visited the people within backyards that have refused to allow us into their backyards to make the changes.
That was though a few years ago, and the issue that I'm bringing up is just, I want to make sure that that money is used for that purpose. And I have, since I know that you voted for that when you were a council person,
sure,
not when you were a mayor, but since you became mayor, I've been asking repeatedly about the money, and I have never gotten a clear response. And Bill Norton was very responsive and went and talked to Mr. Bickford, but I asked him specifically about those funds, and he said, as far as he knew, that wasn't money that was available for this project. So that's why I emailed you like 10 days ago to get an answer, and I just want to be able to report back to the constituents, because they know that we passed that resolution.
Sure, I'm with you. The money was allocated by the city. It has not been pulled out and put into an account. It's still in the waterfront sewer line, and that's the information that you got and that we got from our assessment. And if you didn't get it, I'll make sure you send it to you.
Okay, so just to be clear then, that $250,000 is there and for the use of this project?
It is.
Okay, I'll just make sure that the staff knows that, because I'm not sure that they do.
You don't need to let them know it. They have been in contact with Suzanne. The money hasn't been pulled from the water and sewer general fund. The allocation was made. The council never pulled, or the current administration didn't pull the money out of that and put it into a separate fund, but it's definitely there, and it's got to be there because the council approved it. So it just needs to be assigned from the water and sewer general fund, the water fund, into that line.
Okay, because when I asked, I was told we didn't get the other grant, so all we had was $30,000. That's why I'm asking this again, because I said, no, we have this other money, and I was told that it wasn't there. So I'm just wanting to clarify.
It hasn't been pulled from the general fund like the council passed it and put into that line. But the reality is that we've got to study the entire problem and go and line those with the CT cameras, and that's why Water and Sewer, Warren County Soil and Water, got us the $30,000.
Yeah. Okay. So that was my main question, just is that money allocated for this purpose, and you're saying yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Also, under old business, I just wanted to note that I attended the city's Earth Day event. I saw a really nice presentation from Jeff Flagg of our garden above pharmacy. I don't know if anyone has been up there, but we have a vertical garden that grows produce that the local restaurants use. So I thought that was really interesting. It was a well-attended presentation. I was also able to run in the, or I didn't run, walked, in the Rotary 5K. I thought that it was really well attended, and I saw Bill Norton walking there too, so that was a good event. That's all I have for old business.
Thank you. Councilman, one second. New, old business, please.
I have something that, I don't know if it's old business or new business. I've checked in with Philip at Building and Codes about 132 Maple Street, which is on the National Historic Registry of National Historic Places, and seems to be in a derelict condition. And he said he was going to follow up with me, but I haven't I've gotten something back from him, and it's been a few weeks, so I just wanted to bring that up, whether that's old business or new business, I'm not really sure. But I'd like to know specifically, I know some municipalities have particular rules for places that are on the list, and if that's something that the council will need to pick up in order to preserve historically interesting architecture. That's one of the nice things about Glens Falls. And a few years ago, we ran into a situation where the city owned a place that was on the list, and it was nearly torn down. So I would like to address if this is something that we need to have more teeth in our code. I'd like to see what it takes to go about doing that.
Okay.
Is this a single family or is it one?
What's that?
Single family?
Single family, 132 Maple.
Okay.
Councilwoman Good, old business. New business, Councilman Clark.
I have no new business.
Councilman Donahue.
We take care of this thing?
No, I think we're going to put that on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's powered for it.
Gotcha.
it'll be on the next.
On the next, next one. Councilman Landry.
Yes, a couple of quick things. I want to congratulate Chef Denver. I'm not sure what her real name is, whether Denver's her first name or her last name. She cooked at flight restaurants. She's been around a lot of good restaurants in the area, and she's picked Glens Falls to do it again down on Warren Street. I think it's a breakfast and lunch place now with the thoughts of a dinner menu at some point in time. But welcome her to the city, and thanks for coming back. I think she's a great asset. And I'd also like to just acknowledge the City Police Department for an arrest that they recently made following a shooting back in January. Good police work takes time. Our police department is often criticized because we don't seem to get things done in what the public thinks is a timely fashion, but the one thing that we do in our police department is we get it done. So congratulations to the police department. That's all.
Thank you. New business, Councilman Palmer.
Yes, I have brought up LEAD a couple times in here, the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program, and I just wanted to report for those of you who may not have seen, there is a meeting scheduled at 10 a.m. on 4/29, and we have had really good responses from the county mental health, county health, the prosecutors, the public defenders, and the county administrators. I think we should have a productive meeting on that day. I had a question about the bike issue, the youths on the bikes. I think that there are two different issues. There's the road safety with the kids that are participating in this bike out thing where they take over the roads. And then there were stories last year reported about violence or vandalism. It's not necessarily the same people. And I remember last year with the kids that are doing these bike out things, there was one of the parents was commenting online, kind of identifying herself. And I was wondering if we had reached out to them proactively to say, talk to us about how you can have these events in a safer way. I didn't know if we had done that. I was just wondering.
No, the bike out folks, we didn't even know that they were in the community. They'd never notified us. It was a national group of people that had come in out of the area and didn't tell us. And we learned that they were doing something East Field without our knowledge. We certainly can reach out to that bike out. I don't know that the bike out thing is happening again, but we certainly can do that. The reports that we've gotten so far are literally of kids purposely being in traffic, stopping traffic and kind of daring people to run them over and giving them lewd gestures and being rude. But I don't know that we've had an official bike out, but we can certainly have the police chief reach out and from the national group. The national group didn't respond to us at all when we reached out to them last time saying,
but I remember there was a mom who commented online saying, you know, these are kids trying to do a healthy thing, and there was a whole dispute. So she's identified herself. I'm just saying, I wonder if we've reached out and just said, let us help you do this in a safe way. I think it just might be worth a conversation. Sure. That's all. I also wanted to address the flag issue again. I sent you all a draft that I had proposed. I only got a couple comments, so I didn't know if anybody had a chance to look at it or had any comments on that.
anybody have any comment?
Is this the one you sent Monday?
Yep.
Yesterday?
Anybody want to go? So I appreciate, thank you for, I get a chance to read this last night and again today. Thank you for your suggestions. I had a couple questions for you.
Sure.
So you say the city could approve national flags of heritage. You gave some examples. Is that an exhaustive list, or are you thinking those just examples? Are you, how do you see that happening?
Yeah. So just for people who might not have seen this, what I'm suggesting is that, you know, the city could approve the state flag, the American flag, the flags that we already hang, but also that a very limited amount of ceremonial flags could be hung. We couldn't just suggest whatever flag we wanted. It couldn't be flags of a specific group. It could be flags of governments recognized by the United States, flags of the governments recognized by the United States may be displayed in conjunction with a ceremonial event of another government held in the city, flags of our sister city, if, for example, the delegation from Saga was here, flags honoring the Palmia prisoners of war missing in action, or current or past military members, flags of sports teams. If there was a significant sporting event and we wanted to put that flag up, that's a pretty common practice in lots of communities. And then I said flags of national heritage because that's the term that I saw listed in the U.S. Courts website, the U.S. State Department website. This is like Black History Month, Women's History Month, Pride Month, Native American History Month. These are not flags of specific groups. These are things that we already kind of commonly celebrate. I mean, if anyone has an iPhone and you just pull up the calendar, they're preloaded onto our calendars. They're listed in the school district's calendars. These are things we're kind of used to celebrating already. And I tried to propose a very moderate compromise. I know we all had different opinions. The mayor at one point, you know, kind of said you would entertain the idea of putting up a different flagpole for civic flags. I don't think the issue of where they are has anything to do with it legally, and I don't think we need to spend money on something like that. I know that Councilman Lapham at one point was saying we should be able to suggest any flag. I know that Councilman Landry was concerned about suggesting specific groups and the climate of polarization that could be exacerbated. So I tried to take all those thoughts into consideration and say, how could we create a very limited policy that allows a little leeway, but that reins it in so that we're not ever debating about one group or over the other. So that's what I offered. I know Councilman at Large Clark at one point suggested that we light City Hall up in rainbow colors. I don't know of any infrastructure we have for that, so that seems like that would be another cost, which I don't think we need to spend money on. But this to me seems like a moderate, reasonable approach that would limit it. So that's why, I tried very hard to listen to all your comments and take them into consideration.
So to answer my question, this is just some examples. You're suggesting that we then we set some guides for national heritage flag and other flags that you list. And so then people would come and say, as one group already has, and said, hey, we'd like you to recognize our national heritage flag for the month of June. And so then the council would then vote on that?
No, I don't think that it would come from the groups. I mean, it's any group would come and talk to us, but it's very clear in this policy. I'll just read it. The city's flag poles are not intended to serve as a forum for free expression by the public. At the direction of the mayor or common council, the following flags may be displayed by the city of Glens Falls as an expression of the city's official sentiments. So the point is that we can't open this up to just take requests and then hang flags, or we wouldn't be able to turn down any request. We would be in violation of the public's right. But if we set this policy saying we are choosing to hang certain flags, we can say no to whatever flag we want. And so my suggestion here was to limit it to those specific flags. Not that we have to hang all those flags, but that if a member of the Common Council or if the mayor wanted to hang one of those flags, that would be allowed. That's all I'm saying, yeah.
So if a group came to us that isn't on the list that you're examining, and they say our flag is of national heritage, then we would then need to hang it? Because they're calling it what would be your definition of a national heritage flag?
They're identified on, like I said, on the U.S. State Department's website. They're identified in calendars that we all use specifically. I think we all kind of know what I'm talking about. Women's History Month, Black History Month, Pride Month, there's Native American History Month. I'm not saying that anybody can come and say, this is my heritage. It's nationally recognized heritage.
Nationally recognized heritage.
Yeah. So that way we're limiting it, and we're not going to ever get into a back and forth over we're going to pick this group or that group. This is not about any specific group. This is about things that we already as a nation recognize, and then fun events that we could celebrate, like the Thunder won something, we could hang a Thunder flag, or Saga City's here, we could hang the Saga City flag. Very, very simple flags. And it doesn't, and I also put something in here that we could accept donations, so none of this would have to cost anything. But even if we chose to buy a flag, that's still cheaper than paying for lighting things up or erecting another flagpole.
Mayor? Sure. And I say this in the nicest way, I'm confused. So we're saying that we're not going to put any flags except the American flag or other government-approved flags on the May 11 flag poles here in the city, correct?
That's not what this says.
No, that's not what it says. Okay, that's why I wanted to ask that question.
Yeah.
And then secondly, the list of the heritage banners or flags or whatever that they are, those would be the ones that we would allow?
Yeah, that we could allow.
That we could allow?
Yeah.
Okay, and that decision of which ones of those that we could allow would be made by who, the mayor or the council?
Either by direction of the mayor or by vote of the common council.
Right. Okay, and then who makes the decision to say to somebody no?
We would have to say no to anybody who asked us to hang a flag that wasn't in one of these categories. So it's not
Or we would have to amend the policy.
Yeah.
This is the thing of, the most important thing is we currently have no policy.
Right.
So we're in a bad situation for that.
Right.
This is a way of addressing needs for things that most everyone considers to be heritage, or like when we have a Saga City delegation here, we might, I mean, crossed flags is one of the most common ways of expressing respect for a visiting people.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't take away, so the way the banners are handled now, and the banners that we do have, would not be affected by that at all? There would be a separate policy for flags, separate from the policy for
Yep.
banners?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
And so if I had a flag that I thought was a ceremonial flag of a sports team, then, and the city didn't agree with it, if I think that the Washington Redskins flag is a sports team that I think, and I'm for not changing their name to the Washington Generals, then the city council and the mayor would have to vote for approving or not approving that flag?
I don't know why we would ever hang a flag from Washington. It says the flags of sports teams may be displayed in commemoration of a significant achievement involving the city of Glens Falls, I suppose.
Only sports flags
If
for
we
that.
decided to buy the Washington team, that might be an option, but I
Sure.
think this means, you know, this is a common thing that it happens in other cities. Their sports team in town wins something big and they put a flag up.
So
That's what
just
happens.
the city flags?
Yeah, well, that's what it says in here, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so I guess I gotta take a look at the list of national heritage flags, and then and so you're saying if you're not listed in this, then we'll be exclusive of so it would be only in this the federal state flags, the ceremony flags that you list here, and then the national heritage flags that are identified on a calendar.
There's also other recognized flags from other governments recognized by the United States.
Right. Okay.
Like the Japanese flag, if we have.
Sure, but only if it has an event in Glens Falls.
Yeah. I tried to make this as narrow as possible while giving us just a little bit of leeway for things that are already recognized by most of us. So that, you know, and I also tried very hard to listen to all your concerns and include it in here. So I just was hoping to get some response because I didn't get very much.
And let me, Diana, I didn't respond to you because I think it's good we're having this dialogue right here, right now.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing. I'm a big opponent because my kids say, well, I texted that, and I said, well, I thought you said you were going to throw your sister down the sewer, and that isn't what they meant. It meant something different. So I didn't respond, and I do think that this conversation is good. I'm still back into the thing. So this is all, everything that we're talking about would then allow one of those flags to be put on the American flagpole. Is that correct?
And one of the flagpoles in the city. Yeah.
Well, so there's 11 flagpoles in the city that are American flagpoles. Would it be on any of those?
I am suggesting that it would go on one of the existing flagpoles. I don't support paying to put up another flagpole when we already have 11.
No, I understand that, and the only thing I'll say about this, because it happened today, I had a meeting with the people from the Rotary Club in regards to the swim and tennis club, and the past president of the Rotary Club said to me, geez, I still hope that the city's interested in, they called it a peace pole.
Yeah.
So if we can find a location, in fact, this person had said to me the same thing that we discussed at one point in time when we had them before the Recreation Commission. It was over here at the fountain on Warren Street. So just remember that that's still out there. And then I also want to tell you that, you know, I've been here on the council for 2.5 years, and I get all the phone calls you do. I got guys with brown water again right now, things like that. You got sewer issues that are going on. I've never heard from as many constituents as I have about this.
Yeah,
More than all the other things we talk about, budgets, problems with our water and sewer, problems with our fire department, police department. But this thing has struck a chord.
Yeah, I think it's true. We tend to hear from people on these hot button issues. When we were talking about chickens, we heard from a lot of people, and we don't always hear from them when we're passing a budget. That's just true. These are interesting things to talk about for people, but I think that it's important that it's understood correctly too, because I asked for input. I put it out there. I got input from a lot of people, and most of the comments that were negative were, not all, but most were saying that why would we open the door to start debating over this group or that group? But this doesn't do that.
Right.
And that's why I proposed it.
Right.
So.
And again,
so if there isn't a group listed on this list, we are going to have some discussion about it because it's not on the list, right? So we have to decide one way or another.
No.
This is our policy.
Yeah.
Unless you're saying we want to have a discussion about changing the policies.
Right.
So if there's a Hispanic Heritage Month.
Arab American, Jewish American, Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander heritage.
So I think we need to, if we're going to do this, we need to do it right.
Caribbean American Heritage Month, Immigrant Heritage Month, and World Refugee Hispanic Heritage Month. These are all that are on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't list every single one for space, but it says flags of national heritage such as. So that's what I was trying to say.
So we limit it to that list.
To just that list. And then if someone came forward with, please hang my flag, we would say no, our policy doesn't allow it. And that's the end of it. Then we don't have to have debates about it.
And if we had more than 1 month, we could always hang more than one underneath it.
Yeah.
So if two
For
had
example,
the same.
for example, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month and Military Appreciation Month are both celebrated in May. Like either of those would be acceptable,
So is Jewish American.
Yeah, so, that's all, that's what I limited it to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilman Lappin, new business. Councilwoman Gooden. I just wanted to let you all know that I'm going to bring you a resolution at the next council meeting to a proposal to help building and codes to move to temporary location. I've got a quote from 333 Glen for enough space for about $1,000 a month for the 4 employees that we have at building and codes. One's only a part-time employee because we're about to replace the roof, and the inside of the building is bad and gotten worse. And so I'll let you know that it's coming, and for you guys to consider helping fund that or not while we get the roof done. And we also, in that same work, we're going to fix the current offices. And so I wanted you to know that. And then also under new business, I would like to read a resolution of a proclamation that was forwarded suggested by Councilman Landry. And so I know we have some crossing guards here, and they've meant a whole bunch to us in keeping our children safe. And so whereas the city of Glens Falls, New York, is home to many hundreds of school-age children and teenagers whose safety and well-being is fundamental. And whereas each school day, regardless of weather, our loyal city school crossing guards ensure the safety of our children and families as they arrive to depart from our city schools. And whereas the city of Glens Falls prioritizes public safety and the significant role these good people play to ensure the protection of our children, as evidenced by their service, responsibility, and professionalism, and is demonstrated daily while they provide this essential public service for our community. We now wish to acknowledge and praise the city crossing guards for their diligent efforts to protect our children and, by extension, our families. Now, therefore, be resolved that I, S. William Collins, Mayor of the City of Glens Falls, New York, in concert with the Common Council, do hereby declare Tuesday, April 23rd, as Glens Falls School Crossing Guard Day. In witness, I have set my hand to cause the seal of the city of Glens Falls affixed here on the 23rd of April. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, Councilman, for making that suggestion.
If I could, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to acknowledge a couple of them. First of all, I want you all to know that you are possibly, and I think definitely, the most important city employees we have. We have over 2,000 kids that go to our schools every single day. A lot of them, as you know, have a parent, a sibling, a babysitter, a grandparent traveling with them. That's how I know some of you. And it amazes me because one of the things we want the employees of the city to do is be good representatives of their city government. People's tax-paying dollars pay your salaries. What I see when I interact with you is people who know kids by their first name, know their parents by their first name, know what flavor lollipop the kids like on the way home from school. You not only make sure that they cross the road properly and that they're protected while they're crossing the road. School crossing guards stand on that periphery around our schools today that are vulnerable to violence. They can witness things going on between children and parents. There's lots of things that you could do. And you guys go there every single day, whether it's snowing out or raining out or whatever it's doing out, and you do one hell of a job. And I'm glad that we're finally recognizing you for it. Angel Mechanic, who's here, how long have you been a school crossing guard?
30 years.
How many?
30.
30 years. We don't have many 30-year employees left in the city of Glens. So, listen, thank you very much for what you do. You needed to be acknowledged. Keep up the good work. We'd be in big trouble without you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just like to echo that along with Bob Landry because retired from the police department after 32 years, and I did do crossing for many of those years. And I did it because I loved it and because I got to know the children. I knew their parents. And believe me, those children, you make such a difference in their life. They come to school, I'll never forget, many days children that had problems, they'd see me and they'd be, upset, they'd be crying. And I just talk to them a minute, give them a hug, give them a little kiss, and they'd be skipping off to school. It makes a difference, and really, you make a huge difference. And we want you to really know, because I know personally, and I loved it so much, that we love you and we appreciate you. My neighbor, she's a crossing guard. They love her, and I know many of you, and I just love all of you, and I just appreciate you so much. And I'm sure we all do. And thank you for all that you do.
Can I just say one thing? I was at Sanford in Logan for years.
Yes.
And I still see kids at the ski center because I work there. This one lady came up to me, she's like, "Oh my God, I think you were my kid's crossing guard." I'm like, I probably was. And I mean, Sanford's been closed for how many years? But not in Hudson and Murray, where I take my, it's scary there. I got trucks, people turning left and right, it's nuts. And then they put that bike path thing over there. What is that all about? How many bikes are on those roads? But I'm telling you, I've seen so many services since they put that new bike path thing in the middle of these main roads. But anyways, yes.
Well, I think part of the thing is that bicycles have every right to the road that motor vehicles do.
Right, but where are the bikes?
But that's also the policy.
Other than those scooter bikes that go zipping around.
With that, we'll go to public comment. Would anybody like to address the council?
Hi, I'm Charlotte Hickox, 28 West Notre Dame Street. I'm actually a new resident of Glens Falls. I just moved here in September from Columbus, Ohio. I'd like to speak on the pride flag issue. As a new member of Glens Falls, it's really important to me to live in a community that's inclusive and inviting to new members like myself. And as a straight ally of the gay and lesbian community, I want to make sure that our members are welcomed and feeling loved and part of our community. And I think that watching what's been going on here at council and kind of the delay and the dragging of the feet of council and the mayor to, fly the flag during June here, coming up during Pride Month, really is disheartening and really, kind of sends a message to our community of the lack of inclusivity that we want to show our community here. I think that frankly, you all are elected to represent us, to send a message to our community, and by really kind of waiting to do this until the very last minute, sends a message. Frankly, it kind of seems like you're waiting for June to come and go, and waiting for Pride Month to come and go, and to think that we're just gonna let the issue pass. And frankly, even if June comes and goes and the flag doesn't fly, we're gonna still be here, and we're gonna keep asking for the flag to be flown, and June's gonna come back next year, and we're gonna be asking for it again. Councilwoman Palmer has issued a great compromise, and frankly, we didn't really need a compromise, but she has offered one, and I think that a policy is a great place to start. Someone who's worked in government affairs, someone who's been a council member for a small village in Ohio, I understand that a policy is a great place to start. It sends a clear message, it sends a concise message, and so I think it's a great place to start. We've got another month to do it. I think that it only is a great place to go. We can send a message to our community that we're inclusive, we want all residents to be seen and heard, and that we need to fly the flag. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everybody.
Okay.
I'm Cam Cardelli with Lower Adirondack Pride. Thank you for your attention to this. Thank you, Councilwoman Palmer, for all the time you've put into this. I trust that you'll make the right decision. I do have some more letters of support and also evidence of other cities like Albany, Troy, Amsterdam, even 21 state buildings that are lit or display a flag during Pride Month in this packet that you can pass around. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, my name's Barb Stevens, and I think each of you have received a letter from my husband about the flag. He couldn't be here tonight because he's out of town. But I'll just read the...
What's your address?
Barb Stevens.
What's your address?
23 Western.
Thank
Glens
you.
House. This note, please accept this note as a request from a concerned citizen for the City of Glens Falls to establish a policy that allows flying only the U.S., New York State City, and City of Glens Falls and MIA and POW flags. This follows the city's past practices of only flying flags representative of expression of government speech. And I know you've already gone through this tonight, and I thank you for what you've done. But the other questions is, which flags does Glens Falls City Council consider representative of the government speech on behalf of the City of Glens Falls? To only have those on our flagpoles, the government flags. And what is the best interest of the City of Glens Falls and its citizens? Not individual private flags. So that's why we're here tonight, and we thank you for the good job that you're doing and ask that it continue on as it has been. Thank you.
Just sitting back. Microphone is right there. Right out there. It doesn't, can you come off?
It's all right. I can project. Put my cane up here.
How are you?
I am very well, thank you, but maybe I might not be after this.
Okay. What's your name?
My name is Philip Rich, and I'm new here. I live in Queensbury at the Cedars. And I'm going to say something. I imagine I shouldn't be talking like this in this august chamber, but I ask your patience. I imagine that you are wondering how I became blind. And I have to tell you that if I told you it was from masturbation, you wouldn't believe me. I was 2 pounds 7 ounces when I was born. I had a twin named Suzette who died 5 days later, and I endeavored to make her part of my personality. Now, reading the article with my Braille computer, I was painfully aware of the fact that there were some objections to having a gay pride flag in City Hall, owing to fear of controversy. Now, I try to imagine what this means to all of you, because it seems like you have very legitimate reasons for not wanting the gay pride flag. And they arise, I imagine, out of your unmet needs. So if you're concerned about unrest, or you're concerned about controversy, I'm trying to imagine that you're fearing all kinds of mayhem in our peaceful community. Smashed windows, broken glass, all kinds of things. I stuck my neck out to be with you. And my family wanted me to move up here because they wanted me to be close to them in the time I have left. But I said, I'm afraid to come up here because I'm uncertain that I will be treated well as a blind and gay man. And they said, you could find pockets of people that you could support you. Only pockets. So I'm saying, I'm sticking my neck out to talk to you. And I'm wondering if you would be willing to stick your neck out and figure out a way that you could support having a gay pride flag in City Hall. And I thank you for your opportunity to let me speak to you in the way my friends know I do.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask you to stand right here. I can just make a quick comment. Hi, I'm a friend of Phil's, Steve Barada, and I also happen to be an openly gay man. And I moved to Glens Falls about 10 years ago. And I thought I was moving up to the Hicks and the pocket of intolerance, to be honest with you, because I come from closer to New York City, and found that to absolutely not be true. And I was pleasantly surprised, and have learned to consider this my home, and am proud to consider this my home. But I will be honest with you, I was a little disconcerted to hear some of the dialogue, especially the dialogue that was going on amongst all of you in regards to this issue of hanging the gay flag. And I just want to talk about that for one brief moment, because really, for me, and I can only speak for me, that flag, I heard the term special interest, I heard the term other, I heard the term inappropriate. I have heard all those terms my entire life to describe my right to be my true self. Okay? And I take offense to that. And the flag really, to me, and I imagine a lot of other gay people, represents our civil rights and the knowledge that we can marry, we can raise children, we are equal and loved in the eyes of God. In this divided nation that we live in today, because it's really divided, gays and lesbians are the target of a lot of the vitriol that's going on. The book bans, 75% of all the book bans are aimed at books with gay and lesbian content. I have 2 daddies, or 2 mommies. And it's just nice when I go into a community in June, sometimes it's July because they can't fit it in June, and I see gay pride flags hanging, because it says to me it's a tolerant community, it's a safe community, it's a community where I can be my true self, and I hope you all take that to heart, and you will approve flying the gay flag. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Council. This is Claudia Bramer. I'm a resident of Glens Falls, and I really appreciate your discussion on the record about these issues, and including the stewards' shops one. I think it is really important. I appreciate that the resolution sending it to the planning board is specifically directing them to look at that particular issue. Because otherwise, I think they would just look at it from the planning board eyes, and they might not look at, say, okay, let's suggest to stewards that we rearrange the concept. So hopefully that can be done. And I do want you to know that I contacted Attorney Fuller and sent him that concept map too, so it won't be coming out of left field for them. I don't know how he didn't really respond to me substantively, but said he would send it on to the client. So that was kind of him. Because I'm not representing anybody but myself on that one. And on the pride flag issue, I do want to, I do have a comment. I also want to read one of the letters that was submitted tonight, just so that you guys can hear this from a business owner in Glens Falls. It's from Sidekick Creative. They have a shop right on Ridge Street in Glens Falls, and they say, "Dear members of the Glens Falls Common Council, we are writing to express our enthusiastic support for the proposal to fly a pride flag in our city. As local business owners and residents, we believe displaying the pride flag would demonstrate Glens Falls' commitment to inclusivity and diversity. Flying the pride flag sends a powerful message of acceptance and support for the LGBTQ+ community. It shows that Glens Falls is a welcoming place where everyone is valued and respected. I urge you to vote in favor of allowing the pride flag to be flown in our city. Let's make Glens Falls a beacon of inclusivity and acceptance. Thank you for considering this important initiative." And then my own comments are that I do hope that you will adopt the flag policy as has been presented by Councilwoman Palmer. I know that she's done a lot of research, a lot of work on it, and I know that you also have been really weighing it. I know you've been getting calls from people, and they're very concerned about it. And I can appreciate that people want to honor our past. I had to do a little research about where exactly the POW/MIA flag comes from, because I'm a little too young, but not too young, too young. But I can appreciate that we want to honor the people who served in Vietnam, our military members who went missing, became prisoners of war, and that is very important. We should also be celebrating our future. This flag, the pride flag in particular, means so much more to our young people and to people living here in our community, as you've heard, from people who feel excluded, who feel that they're attacked at times. And this really would mean a lot to them to feel included in the city and to feel heard and seen. And I know that some people might be annoyed by it, but I think that they will over time understand and accept it. And to the people who are mad about this, and I'm not saying anyone here tonight said this, but there are people out there who would be mad about seeing the pride flag because they don't like people who are gay, and that's just not okay. And I don't think that we should govern with respect to that position. So I hope that you guys can find this compromise position as a way to be able to fly all of our things like this. You know, my family participated in Saga City, and that was really cool. And I think flying something like that flag is totally acceptable, as well as the sports flags and the other national heritage flags that were mentioned tonight. And I applaud you for going through the list and seeing what other ones can be included. And I would urge you to go to the Glens Falls City School District calendar, because they have some that aren't mentioned, that haven't been mentioned tonight, that could be included. They do have the Pride flag as well, Pride Month. So thank you very much for your time and commitment to our city. I appreciate it.
Can I just call you as a question, because you maybe have researched this? What is the city school system doing with the pride flag? Where are they flying?
I don't know if they're actually flying a flag, but they do have certain clubs.
Okay, all right. I didn't know whether they were flying it on this.
It's not on a flagpole. No, I'm sorry if I implied that. That is, but it's on the calendar as a recognized Heritage Month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. You guys do an awesome job. My name is Colleen Russell. I live at 35, oh God, I'm nervous, sorry. Needle Park Road. Anyway, I just want to say that to me, the American flag stands for all people. We are all Americans, black, white, red, lesbian, gay, whatever. We are all Americans, and that's what the American flag should be, hanging at our center. And I'm proud to be an American. Thank you.
Thank you. And no, we're not flying the Boston Red Sox.
That was my second. Ben Driscoll, West Fremont Street in Glens Falls, and a member of the Warren County Board of Supervisors representing the 5th Ward and a former member of this distinguished body. I'm not going to take a position, and I'm not going to advocate either way. I will share a discussion that Warren County Board of Supervisors had, I think it was 2 years ago, and then Supervisor Bramer was part of that, and we were discussing Juneteenth holiday and how Warren County was going to handle that and how other municipalities within Warren County were going to handle that. And we had good discussion, just as you folks have had this evening, and members of the public, I think, voiced in on that. We had a couple of members, as I remember, that were ready to vote against it, and not because they didn't believe that it was an important recognition of individuals, but because they had done their, I guess, fiduciary responsibilities to taxpayers and had crunched the numbers and determined how much more money the Warren County would be spending for another holiday, which would include paying overtime to individuals that had to work on that holiday and have to work on all holidays, public safety officials and a number of individuals like that. I pointed out that, and I had read from New York State Association of Counties that this was a discussion that was taking place throughout New York State. And I said, as a county and a region that depends so much on tourism, depends so much on guests coming to visit and spend their money and enjoy all the amenities that this region has to offer. We didn't want to be one of 2-3 counties in New York State. We're one of 2-3 counties that has the lower sales tax. That's fine. That's a whole different matter. But we didn't want to be pointed at and said, well, Warren County is one of only 2 counties throughout New York State, including the boroughs of New York City, that don't recognize Juneteenth. It was, I think, a pretty obvious vote on how that should take place, and it was voted unanimously. So again, I'm not asking any of you to take any particular position this evening or even down the road, but I would ask you to consider public opinion and the people who both reside here, but also come here to recreate, spend their money, go to games, go appreciate the arts, outdoors, and all that we have to offer. Those people are looking out and anxiously awaiting your decision. Thanks.
Thank you.
I just wanted to comment, I'm sorry, Supervisor Driscoll was saying that Warren County didn't want to be one of the only counties that didn't recognize Juneteenth, and I didn't realize, but I was looking at those papers that we were passing around, and if I understand correctly, it said that Amsterdam, Saratoga, Troy, Albany, and Schenectady all fly this flag. Is that right? Yep. Okay, so I just think that's an interesting point to notice. It sounds like we would be the outlier of a city who didn't do it. Okay.
Hi, my name is Judy Wood from Hudson Falls, New York. I would like to make a comment. I don't believe the gal is here, but I'd like to make a comment about the fact that some people feel that we don't like gay people. We meaning someone that is not gay. I have gay members in my family, and I love them. I don't think it's not a question of that. We can disagree about things and don't see things eye to eye, but we still walk hand in hand. That means as a non-gay person, I can walk hand in hand with a gay person based on their morals, their integrity, and their character. It has nothing to do with their sexual preference. We are not your enemy. We are there to support you, but we don't have to agree upon everything. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. So I guess I'll take the privilege of being the chair. Go ahead. Oh, more public comment? Sure. I apologize.
Glenn Provost, 10 4th Street. I'm here to ask you guys about purchasing the city-owned lot next door to me at 12 4th Street. You guys have owned it, I believe, since 2004. I've been maintaining it since 2015 when I purchased my house. I came in shortly, about 6 months after I bought my home, and asked about buying it. Was given a little bit of information and a few different routes that we could go about making the sale, and that someone would reach out to me. No one did. I didn't really, harp on it too much, try and get it done, but kind of getting to the point now where I've been maintaining it for a while. I'd like to start doing some landscaping over there, and I don't really want to do that, sink my own money into it unless I own the property. So I've got.
Your first name was Ben?
Glenn.
So
do you know the address of the vacant lot?
It's 12 4th Street.
So
I've got.
Call my office and we'll make a meeting. We'll come in.
Okay, so just get in touch with your office.
Bernie Gray will set
Should
up.
I leave? I've got.
No, you hold on. I'll lose it. So please bring it with you. Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to misplace it. Okay.
Thank you very much. So I'll
thank you.
set something up this week then.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll take the privilege of the chair to wrap public comment. I want to thank Councilwoman Palmer for her draft. I definitely will give it a look. I don't know where we're going to come down on this as a council. I did hear an expression tonight that I hadn't heard before about being a straight advocate of the LGBT community. I count myself in that category. I'd never heard it before, but I appreciate it. Miss Bramer said that she mentioned that some people have the hatred of this group. Certainly there are people. We've had many. I've had probably about 12 comments. About 8 of them have been wishing us not to fly anything. 4 of them for us to fly them. But that's not. That has no. None of the council members I've spoken to have ever had any reluctance about supporting the LGBT community. And I've been asked to speak at your event. I hope I'm still on the agenda, Cam, if you'll still have me. I want to make sure that this is clear, that we as a council are debating whether to allow community groups to have space on our flagpoles. We are not at all debating I believe that the LGBT community, the Adirondack Pride community, is a civil rights organization. I think they're every bit of a civil rights organization as the NAACP. I find myself an unequivocal advocate for that group as a civil rights organization. I believe Glens Falls as a community is open-minded. There may be some people who aren't, and maybe I've even heard from some of them in the last couple weeks. And I want them to know, as well as the community in large, that I don't agree with them. I have no concerns at all. I will come. I'll be happy to carry the pride flag. Cam gave me one, but I don't have a stick for it, Cam. And if you want to take it back and give me a stick, I will be happy to. Somebody even made the suggestion, a councilman made the suggestion, I don't have the money right now, but mind buying maybe a rainbow jacket to wear on that day when speaking to your group. So I want you to know that this has nothing to do, nothing at all I can only speak for myself. This has nothing to do with me being afraid of standing up for the rights of LGBT community and being an advocate. Absolutely not. It just has nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. I'm worried that if we open this up, and people have told me I shouldn't be worried. People have told me all sorts of things, but I'm worried about the flood of people. I've already had people saying, if you're going to open this up to June, then I've got a group that I want to open it up July, August, and September. It concerns me, but I just want you to know that it has nothing to do with the organization or my support of them. It's just not the case, and I wanted to make sure that I made that clear. Doesn't mean anything else. I don't know. We've got a proposal from Councilwoman Palmer. I'd love to see the list of all the recognized heritage flags and see how that goes and how, to try to look at this. I want to keep our city out of controversy. I want to keep this away. I appreciate that Councilwoman Palmer's suggestion has us not voting on which civic groups to approve or not. And so that's exactly what my concern was. And if we can find a way to do it, I have an open mind, I would love to. That's why I suggested, although I know it's not part of Councilwoman Palmer's, of us creating a all-inclusive community flag. That's what my suggestion was. Doesn't mean it's the best. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that's why I made the suggestion, because I do believe that we need to be an inclusive community. And we need to be absolutely unequivocally inclusive of organizations in our community. And I think maybe then that's part of that. But anyway, I just wanted, because the reason I'm saying this is that I've heard it again and again, that people are thinking that I am not for the LGBT community or that I have concerns about them or representing them. I don't. It's just that simple for me. With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. We stand adjourned. Thank you all very much.